Should we get this party started? Yeah.
What'd he say?
He's actioning for me
Oh,
over there.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Outer Belt. I'm Patrick, and you all know my friends, Melissa, Eric, Jerome Barrow, Don in the back. Anyways, we're just so happy to be here.
What?
What?
Aren't you forgetting someone?
Well, that was my
Oh,
friends.
he named us all.
And then you all know.
He named all his friends.
And then there's Chile.
Hello.
Chili is a step above a friend.
What is that?
That's a consigliere.
Yes, right.
It's a
I see.
consigliere. Yeah.
It's funny how she was more outraged than I was.
Well, you understood the joke.
I did.
She
Roll
spoiled
with
the
it.
joke. But you know, you gotta. Sometimes spoilage is a good thing. Not in
Yeah.
this case, but sometimes it is.
Well, you know, kind of like buttermilk. That's a good thing.
Is buttermilk spoiled?
It's soured.
Oh, ew. What is buttermilk good for besides biscuits?
Baking. Some people drink it.
My grandfather used to drink it.
My mom did. Not on a regular basis. It was a treat.
Oh,
treat.
my grandfather drank it all the time.
Really?
All the time.
How is
Straight
it?
from the carton.
How is that a treat?
Well, because it wasn't something we had all the time, you know, with the regular milk. But if she was baking something and it required it, she'd finish drinking the rest of the carton over the next few days. So.
I follow.
Buttermilk was different then, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
She was
believe you.
younger. No, it was different. It was true buttermilk. It was churned with butter. Now it's made differently.
Oh. I just remember trying it when my mom was baking years ago and just being like, "Oh, this is terrible.
Yes.
It's terrible."
Makes great cakes, biscuits,
Pancakes,
pancakes,
muffins,
baking goods, certain spices.
brownies,
Possibly.
buttermilk brownies. You ever had those?
No.
Oh, they are. They are. They're there.
All right. I'll have to believe.
Speaking of brownies, Don, I'm glad you're in the back. I got a bone to pick with you. So this past weekend, for May the 4th, we celebrated Cinco de Mayo, as you do.
Right.
We were at your house.
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. Buttermilk's house. Y'all, Vince grilled up a bunch of vegetables and meats, and you prepared the accoutrement to go with it. We had fajitas, chicken steak, and shrimp.
Yep.
Thank you for the shrimp. It was a really wonderful meal. It was a good time together. We played board games until the wee hours of the morning. Not board games. What did we play? We played
Skippo
Skipbo. Yeah.
and
We played one board game. It was bingo.
Loteria,
Yes, we played a Mexican
Mexican.
version.
bingo-ish.
Yep. Eric surprised us with that. He found it. How'd you find it?
Just online, researching.
And so we had a really good time. And then Don, for those of y'all who don't know, Don's actually a world-renowned baker.
He's pastry chef.
Maybe pastry chef. Is that more appropriate?
Yeah.
He's
for his birthday, he got a brand new KitchenAid mixer, something he's
Nice.
been wanting for 14 years since we've been together. So I finally broke down and bought him one.
well. That's something you have to have as a professional baker.
Yep.
Yep.
So if you're looking for anything, cakes, brownies, pies, cookies, especially DoubleTree style delicious chocolate chip cookies, just let Jerry know or Don know. You can send those requests to maintenance@hyfieldtrucking.com. And anytime you're rolling through Columbus, as long as you give him a few hours heads up, he'll get you.
Yeah,
He
a plate
staffs,
of-
he
plate of
staffs the
goods.
green room for Expediter Boogie
Yeah.
He does.
lives too.
They're absolutely insanely good. But for this particular event, he made as a spicy brownie. He made chocolate cayenne pepper brownies. And when he told me this, I was like, that sounds horrible. And let me tell you, they were outstanding.
Delicious.
They were very
They
good.
were so good.
Delicious.
And you know what would be better than having that is if you paired it a la mode. So, of course, you run to the local store and you buy a gallon of or half gallon of French vanilla, right?
Right.
Right.
Is that what Don does?
No.
No. What
No.
does Don do?
I mean,
He churned homemade buttermilk ice cream,
Yep.
vanilla bean style, to go with the brownies.
Hand churned it.
Hand churned it.
Have you seen the muscles on his arms?
They're
from all that ice cream churning.
it's crazy.
Amazing.
It's
Just
I mean,
amazing.
the Arnold Fest. He's gonna be ready for
He's
it
right
when
there.
he comes to
He's right
town.
there for it.
It was
But
delicious.
it was delicious. It was so good. That night, I was blessed, truly blessed, with the worst heartburn I've had in probably 3 or 4 years. And I've had fajitas recently, several times over the past couple of years, and never had heartburn. I've had ice cream over the past several years, and I've never had heartburn. So the only thing I can pinpoint it to is the cayenne pepper infused brownies.
Ooh. Could have been.
That's the only thing I can think it was. They were outstandingly delicious, but
They were.
But don't let that stop you from ordering Don's world famous chocolate cayenne
Yeah,
brownies. They won't.
can't-
No, the rest of us didn't have heartburn.
yeah, to be clear, I do
Only
take
Patrick had heartburn.
I take a daily heartburn pill, so I get that it could just be me. They were so good, though. I would be willing to give it a second try to see if that might have been it.
I can't wait to try them again with a smidge more of the cayenne and cinnamon that he put in there. Just
Yeah.
a smidge. We talked about that. He was a little nervous. It was a first time recipe and he didn't want to, blow our palate out with heat. But just a hair more, I think.
But see, that's the thing about the
Yeah.
professional bakers. Don has measuring cups that measure out a hair, a smidge,
Right.
a pinch,
A
like
punch.
a
A
bunch,
punch.
a wee bit more. It's
Yeah,
crazy,
It's crazy.
how those
crazy.
work. And he's got, I mean, the you know how like we cook a lot at the house, so we have one of those big nice butcher blocks, and it's full of all the knives. Because we do a lot of cooking, we don't do any baking hardly ever. When you go to their house, it's the complete opposite. They have tons of measuring cups of all different sizes, shapes, proportions, dry measures, good
Wet
measures,
measures.
weighted measures.
Yeah.
You ever picked up a weighted measuring spoon?
No.
It's very unique. So, anyways, it was really, really great
It was
weekend.
delicious.
Eric and I didn't bring anything.
You brought cheese.
We did bring cheese. I lied. We brought cheese. You have to.
Yeah.
And we brought. We've had a flight of. A couple of us did had a flight of whiskeys.
Yep.
That
we
was kind
did.
of fun.
That was fun.
Yeah, you did bring the whiskey.
Yeah, we had one we really liked, one we thought was pretty good, and one it
Drain
was
for it.
donated to a shelter. So, anyways,
And I brought the tequilas.
yes, the tequilas was from Eric. A couple of those were pretty. Like, I hate tequila. Ooh, it's god awful. But a couple of those cocktails you made are pretty good.
I found it interesting that the tequila's never made out of the box. I mean, he made his cocktail and
But
it went back in the box. Which, okay,
True.
if you don't want
He
to
was-
share, that's fine.
He was hiding it.
I get it.
He didn't.
I get it. Yeah.
When have we known Eric to really be, sure?
As long as I've known him.
Well, besides that.
Oh,
I know nobody else wants the tequila. Just put it back.
I thought we were going to do shots.
Oh.
No,
It was Cinco de
no,
Mayo.
it was Cinco de
Mezcal
No,
shots?
it was Quattro de
You
Mayo.
mezcal shots.
It was.
You can imagine y'all doing mezcal shots.
Ugh.
See?
All right. Well, we're gonna lose half our audience.
Already lost him.
They're already gone. So,
Right? It was with mezcal.
yeah, but it was a great time. And, the wonderful thing is ever since then, it was a beautiful day outside. Ever since then, we've had nothing but beautiful blue skies, white puffy clouds, cotton ball clouds, and not a bit of bad weather at all.
Really? Until when?
Last night.
It
Yeah.
was a beautiful day, though.
It was.
and
It was gorgeous
it
all
came
day.
at night.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
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 We
Yeah.
went ate dinner at a restaurant, and before we even left, we're walking out the door. I'm like, we got to be back by 9 o'clock. We have to be back by 9
Yeah.
o'clock. And it kept getting pushed back 10, 11.
To the
But
point
still,
that
I kept bugging him that we had to be home by a certain
Yeah.
time because there was bad weather coming, and I don't want to be out on the road for it.
if we were at a restaurant that was probably half an hour away,
Other side of Columbus.
other side of Columbus. It's a really cool spot. On Tuesday nights, they do jazz, blues music while you're eating. Not radio, actually. They have
Live
good-
band.
live band, guitar player, drummer, keyboardist, and a bass player. And it was pretty cool. Cool little spot. But yeah, he kept on checking his watch, and I'm like, we're going to be fine. It's already been bumped back to 10, and then it was already bumped back to 11 or whatever. So we did end up getting back at a reasonable time. It kept getting pushed back though to the point where you ever seen where it just keeps getting pushed back and back and back and then it just disappears?
Gone. Yeah.
I was wondering if that was going to happen. I really
Right.
thought that was what was going to happen. So we're upstairs watching some YouTube. Jeb Brooks, check him out. I'm like, do you hear that? And Eric's like, what? And I'm like, I paused it, and then I heard, ooh. And it's like, oh, crap. That's the tornado sound. So we did what everybody does, and we walked to the backyard and opened up the door and listened to see if it was like, is it our zone or someone else's zone? Because if it's loud enough I can hear it in my house,
Sure.
like that shouldn't be the indication to go downstairs immediately. It's like, no, let's see how close it is. And sure enough, it was the next zone over. So we're like, okay, so it's not for us. No big deal. And I mean, like a minute later, it goes off in our zone. It's like, and it's a lot louder. It's like, okay, I guess we need to.
So our tornado warning tests every Wednesday at 12. So we know exactly what our horn sounds like. And when we opened the door, it didn't sound like that at all.
It just sounded
And I've
distant.
never heard a tornado in person, so I didn't know if that's the sound of a tornado down in the next town over, or if that was the horn of the next town over. I was kind of confused. I didn't know what the heck it was.
It does sound weird when it's a town away from you. It's that Doppler effect just has.
Especially when
things
you're
sound
not used to
strange.
hearing it.
Yeah.
You don't hear them testing theirs like our town does.
Yeah. Yep. So when it finally was ours, it was like, all right, let's grab everything. And the weird thing is, it was super calm outside. There was no rain. There was no hail. Nothing at that point. And so we grab everything, get in the basement. Eric's in slippers. Like we're sitting there for a few minutes, and it's like we should have brought some entertainment. Again, it's calm outside. Like obviously we're not in imminent danger. And so we're like, all right, let's go make for a run for it. So we run upstairs. Eric grabs his laptop and book sack with all of his credit cards and everything in it. And then I grabbed my Andy grabbed his tennis shoes, and I grabbed my iPad, something to drink, and then I stepped back outside and listened again. The alarms are clearly going off in our area. But again, it was pretty calm outside. So I'm like, this is kind of weird. Then we sit down. Now pull the iPad out and check the weather and everything, and that's when we started texting with y'all. Band of Rain was super, like, it's like dry, and then immediately, as soon as it kind of just barely crossed over, it was like, here we go.
Yep.
Full on storm. There was very little of just like calm rain. And then it kept teasing us. Did it do that to y'all as well? Like, it would go off. And then the weather report would be like, okay, we're clear, we're good, yada, yada. And we would leave after like an hour, and then a few minutes later, it would go back off again, and you'd look on the radar, and a red bloop had just popped up when there wasn't one there before. Like, that kept happening. It happened 2 or 3 times, and it was, or maybe 3 or 4 times, and it was a little frustrating there towards the end. It's like, well, do we need to be in the basement or not?
Right.
And then finally it all blew away, and we were able to finish our YouTube. What was it like for y'all?
Well, I did probably what you shouldn't do when you get a tornado warning.
Start coffee?
No, I didn't start coffee. Melissa's like, okay, it's time to go downstairs, and I look up, and her and Annie are gone. They're downstairs. So we were in bed. It's way past my bedtime. I was really ready to go to sleep. So I get up, and I put my shorts on, and I put some shoes on, so, in case the house gets blown away, and we're down there in the basement. I put.
One thing I heard them recommend was helmets. They were like, shoes, you obviously know, because if you have to walk across debris.
Right.
But helmets, if you're leaving your basement, something could fall on your head. And I'm like, that actually kind of makes sense.
You know what's interesting? Our motorcycle helmets are right down there in the basement.
They are.
Yeah, so we could just put those on and walk upstairs. That's interesting. So I
guess we're more prepared than we thought.
So, who knew?
Hey,
Who
fist bump
knew?
on that
Nice
one.
work there,
Woo!
sweetheart.
I'm just trying to imagine your neighbor, because your house got hit, but theirs didn't. So they're like looking for you, and these 2 helmets just appear out of the rubble.
Yeah, so I went and used the restroom, grabbed my iPad, grabbed my water, and, my office is in the basement. So computer's there if you want to mess around with the computer or whatever. So I just meandered down, closed the door behind me, and meandered downstairs. Again, you know how I am with sleep and meandering. So
Yeah.
And then Melissa's like
So you
all
got
over
there
it.
just in time for it to be over?
Exactly. I sat down. She's okay. It's over. Let's go back up. I'll let Melissa tell her version of that story now.
Well, I knew it was coming all night long, so I was watching the radar while we were in the living room, and I could see it tracking way out when it was in Marysville. And then, yes, we decided to go to bed. I couldn't quite tell if it was going to swing north and go up closer to Delaware like it did last time.
That's what I was expecting.
So I'm like, okay, let's go to bed, whatever. And we were going to finish the episode we were on in the living room, but now in the bedroom. And I checked again, and I'm like, oh, it didn't swing north. I said, it's coming right at us. So I paused the TV show we were watching and turned it on to, again, I follow Ohio News and Weather on Facebook. And they were doing all their weather maps and the Doppler and just kept following it. And you sent a text and said, what do we do? Are your sirens going off? And I'm like, no, ours aren't yet. I said, if you feel unsafe or yours are going off, you should probably go to the basement. And then about that time, you said, our sirens are now going off because you're before us just by a little bit.
Yeah.
And
We're two different zones.
And I said, okay, well, ours aren't. And then I'm like, now they're going off. Like it was like a minute later.
Yeah.
And then after I said the sirens had gone off, then we got the alert on our phone that screams at you. And then that's when I decided we should probably move to the basement. Because again, it was, the polygon was coming right at us. And the guy on the weatherman was saying, it looks like it might be trying to spin out towards Plain City, which is just a little neighboring city next to us. And it wasn't worth the risk. So I'm like, and then it did say it was going to expire at 10:45. So we went down at about 10:15, I guess. And then it moved quick. But the sirens, man, they went for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is good. I guess, people, as long as they keep going, people will, if that's your only means for news,
Absolutely. Yeah.
the longer they go, then I guess you'll be safe. But they finally went off. But we just tracked it. I tracked it. And then I said, let's go to bed. We went to bed. And then we were prepared for another round to happen at 1 a.m., but our phones and the sirens never went off. So I think it went south.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
We, I thought it was cool. We started texting and I got a picture of you and Annie.
Yep.
In the basement together, and then my sister and my dad, they're in their basement together, and so I checked on Jerry, and Jerry's like, we're wide awake. We were asleep, and the stupid phone alarm went off, and it was like, okay, well, at least it works.
We were dead asleep, and the phones went off, the loud noise that it does, and then I heard the sirens outside at that point. So we both begrudgingly got out of bed, got dressed, went downstairs, turned on the TV, and then that's when you text me, and we were not in the basement. We were in the living room just watching the news and the TV, and they kept pushing it out, like you said.
Yeah.
They kept pushing the time out that it was going to, and we were on the south side, but we were in the warning.
Yeah.
But we never got not even one drop of rain or anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
But we were in the warning zone. So they kept pushing it out, though, and everything. And finally, they pushed it out to like 11:15 at the latest or something. And I guess it was probably 10:45. He was exhausted, Don was, and he finally looked at me and he was like, I want to go back to bed. If something major happens, just yell at me. So he went back to bed. And I was like 2 minutes after him. I was like, yeah, I'm going back to bed. And I'm done.
Yeah.
It was.
I think if it would have gone a little further north, or if we lived maybe more in your area, probably would have watched it or monitored it from non-basement.
Oh, it came
but-
directly over our
But it
houses.
came directly over us. So the lightning was amazing. When we emerged from the basement, I stood at the slider and watched, and it just was flickering like crazy.
We had tons of lightning, but not one raindrop.
Wow.
Made for a fun night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Made for a rough morning.
Yes.
I did not want to get up this morning.
I did see it's like 80-something today and going to dip down into the 60s tomorrow.
Yeah, lots of rain tomorrow, too. Like rain all day.
That'll be nice. We,
No, it won't be nice.
well, no, cold and rainy.
I don't mind 63 degrees. Just rain all day.
Yeah.
I got to be outside in that stuff.
So we're moving in tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got to move it at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, it may not rain that early. They may get lucky
It's supposed to rain. Like, if you look at the radar,
all day.
it's just rain, and it just sits over us.
It's like a South Louisiana rain
Yeah, it's just
situation.
going to hang out all day long. So like 7 o'clock is when it's supposed to stop.
I know today we were able to go flying, and it was so hot. That plane it flew like a brick. It was
just no lift.
Just no
Just the
lift. It was just like on the plane is smart enough. It actually gives you a percent of power readout, and so we typically when you're taking off, you go full power, and it's 100% power. And today we never saw it get above 95.
Wow.
There just wasn't enough oxygen in
Wow.
the air to fully perform. Oh yeah, it was rough. It was kind of fun. We're doing some precision landings. So like we're doing like short field, soft field. So soft field would be like grass, and short field would be like you just literally have a short runway. Doing some of those are kind of fun.
Yeah?
Like yeah, for a short runway, you like hug the edge of the runway, and then you whip it at the last second to stay on the runway. That way you when you're taxiing, that way you have as much runway as possible to use. You hold your brakes, you go full power. Everything, it takes a little while to get there. Everything gets there, and at this point, the plane feels like it wants to shake itself apart. And then you let go of the brakes, and you're just pushing the back of your seat and try to get off the ground as quickly as possible. That was kind of fun. But then
Do a little smoky burnouts, get a little fishtail going.
hopefully not.
I thought he was talking about when he lands, he applies brake pretty like just a little distance in mature, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
What are you drifting over there? A little Tokyo drift?
Sort of, but the drifting is actually like you're manipulating the plane to stay straight. It's a little different. Yeah, and then the other thing with the landings, though, I mean, the takeoffs are fairly easy. The landings, to like short field landings are not easy. I mean, because you literally have to aim the plane at the grass in front of the runway.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're going to bury the plane into a bunch of grass. And then the point of that is when you actually like pull the stick back at the very bottom, it's called a flare. Then you flare the plane back for you to land on that cushion of air. Then you'll cross the runway and then land on as close to the edge of the runway as you can. It's weird. It's when you're doing it, like the first time I did it, I was like, oh, this just felt like we were about to die. Like, this is super strange.
Well, we went to Key West a few weeks ago. Before we landed, the pilots came on and gave an announcement. I'll spare you guys the voices. That
No, don't
Key
spare.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. I want to thank you for flying Delta Airlines. We realize you have a lot of options when it comes to flying, and we want to thank you for flying with Delta today. Just so you know, the runway here on Key West is a little short, so we'll be landing a little differently than what you're used to. We will take a more downward approach on the landing, and then once we land, we will be applying full brakes. So just so you're aware that we are going to have a little bit of a rough landing. So, again, thank you for flying with Delta. I want to thank all of our Sky Miles members and our Delta One members and our
Delta One members.
our for 1K subscribers and for being loyal members of Delta's family. Flight attendants, please take your seats and strap in. We're going to land in 2 seconds.
I love that Delta is just thinking United's passengers.
They thank them all. They thank them all. It's like NASCAR drivers. They thank all the sponsors they've ever had in their life.
It was a very abrupt landing, though.
It was. And then as we're waiting for our Uber to arrive, we saw our flight crew walk by, and the pilots were like 12. So I was like, wow, he had a deep voice for being 12 years old.
It wasn't scary.
No, it wasn't scary.
And it was nice that he forewarned you,
Yeah,
especially if you've never been before, or you've never had to land in such a way.
Yeah.
But it was quick. We were high, and then we weren't, and then
That
we
was
were
the
on the
most
ground,
frustrating
and then we were
part.
stopped.
The high goes away so fast.
Yep.
It's sobering, I believe they call
It
that.
is sobering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
My flight recently to Atlanta, when we landed, like Atlanta's usually comfortable,
Yeah.
but when we landed, I don't know what he did, but he hit the brakes and he hit them hard, and
Wow.
it seemed like he was on the brakes for like a good solid minute and a half, 2 minutes, and it felt like I was going to go flying out of the seat, and then all of a sudden we just go right.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it
those
was.
high-speed exits.
He wanted that short taxi,
Uh-huh.
so he had to go
That's
all
exactly
the way
what that
around.
was. It's exactly
Yeah.
what that was.
Yeah.
I've had my flight instructor a few times be like, let off the brakes. We're not going to make this one. We'll get the next one. Because you see it, and it's like, I know I can
Yeah.
stop this plane. And,
I'm not going to do it.
oh, man.
He
Some
mu-
exciting.
He must have been Atlanta-based and was ready to get home.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Your
know
flight
it
wasn't late, was it? Oh, it was a late flight, though. What, at
Yeah,
9:30? So it might
they
have been.
had weather move in. So he announced before we took off that he was like, instead of taking the normal straight shot down, we had to go west and go around it and come back.
Yeah.
I hate when that happens. Eric and I did a flight to New York City probably 3-4 years ago, maybe longer. And, from Columbus to New York City is about an hour and 15, hour and a half in the air. It's pretty quick, pretty short little flight. We're like an hour and a half in the flight, and I'm like, where are we? Because I'm looking down, and it's like, I'm just seeing grass and mountains. And I've flown that enough that I'm like, by now, we should be seeing, New Jersey and like, there should be some development.
Right.
There's nothing. And so we finally land almost 2 hours later, or not, like 2 hours later from the whole flight. So I pull up. There's no internet on that plane. It's a little commuter deal, so there's no Wi-Fi. So when we get on the ground, I actually look up. I'm like, what was our route? There was a huge storm system, and we went way down into like Virginia.
Wow.
And over completely around, and then up the the coast to
Wow.
New York because we couldn't get over Pennsylvania. It was bananas.
BANANAS.
I know. And like, they don't want to do it because that burns so much more fuel.
Sure.
But sure beats
Let's
going
hope
through a
they
storm.
put enough fuel on for a detour.
I'm sure they did. Yeah. You ever had the one that's like, I'm gonna give this a shot? Like, we've had that happen a couple times. That's always fun.
Yeah,
Really?
The low fuel indicator says we got 35
No,
miles
I've never
left.
had that.
We
but
got 35 miles left, but I think we can
we had
we can stretch it to 50.
I had it going down to Atlanta. They said that the weather in Atlanta was so bad, but we think we can make it, so we're going to go anyways. So we flew out of Columbus, and we got down kind of that north, if you can think of the corner where Georgia and North Carolina and South Carolina and Tennessee all come together right there. We got there, and then we started doing 360s, so spinning, like just flying in circles. And so the pilot came on the announcement, and he said,
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, pilot here from the cockpit. Just want to let you know that it was kind of wrong.
we're going to wait and see what clears, what happens. We're going to, we got enough fuel. We can circle around for a few minutes, and we're just going to wait and see if there's an opening in the storm. Surprise, surprise, there wasn't. So he comes back on, and he's like, we're getting low on fuel. So we're going to go on to, I think, Fayette or something like that, Fayette, and land, get some more fuel, and then we'll try it again. So we go to Fayette and land, and they were all so like, we're not real sure we'll be able to get back to Atlanta or what. People are at this point getting rental cars and just driving from that point on. There was a whole airplane of people from like Lufthansa or something, someone from Europe that were headed to Atlanta. They couldn't get to Atlanta, so they landed there as well with us. But because they're international and that airport doesn't have an international airport,
No customs.
they were not allowed off the airplane. So they had to like figure out how do you get food and water and air conditioning and things like that into the airplane, and it was a real situation.
Yeah.
And finally, after a couple hours, he's like, all right, we're gonna give it a shot again. And so we got on the plane, headed over there, and it's beautiful. Landed like there was no big deal. Yeah, that was
That's crazy.
it was a wild experience. I mean, there's been a few of those, but
Yeah.
thankfully they're not super common.
I think we did a circle over Detroit one time. It might have been when I went out to my uncle's funeral and came back. But I think we had to do a couple circles because there was a fog or something had settled and they just couldn't find the right opening.
Yeah.
So we did like 3 or 4 circles and then whatever you found or whatever passed and we safely landed. But
I've had a lot of issues in Detroit with fog and snow, and I've had a lot of issues in Atlanta with thunderstorms.
yeah.
So I've heard DFW is really bad with thunderstorms too, but I don't fly there very often. So
We don't either.
Not my last one, but the one before when we went. I had to fly to Atlanta. They we were coming. It was the first time I've ever done a go around, but he was coming into land, and we were almost. I mean, we were getting down close to the ground. And then all of a sudden, he goes back up, and I was like, "Oh my God, we're doing a go around!"
Right.
Like, I wonder what happened. And then he come on. The pilot told us he was like, "Yeah, we were a little too close to the guy in front of me. I didn't feel comfortable, so I'm going around."
I was flying into Austin, Texas once years ago, and I love to watch on the seat back entertainment, the actual flight path and everything.
yeah,
It seems like they've gone to less detail now than they did then. But anyway, this one,
I agree.
there are 2 runways side by side, and it looks like we're lined up right in the middle of the runways. And we're coming in, we're coming down, and I'm watching this, and I'm like, we're that doesn't. But I don't. Who am I? Maybe it's not accurate. I don't know, but looks like we're heading for that grass right in the middle.
Yeah.
And we get pretty damn low, and he gives it full power and takes off and comes back around. They came on at some point and told us they were going around, didn't tell us why. When we come back, you can still see that line tracking, and we landed to the left of that line. It was just like, yeah, somebody didn't see what was going on there, it looks like. And
Yep.
But look, thank you for figuring it out and getting us back around.
Yep. They actually, like, part of the procedure on not so much the plane like I'm flying, but like a jet, because jets take a while to spool up.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to land, a lot of times they will keep their engine in some form of spooled up, maybe not full power or anything
Right.
like that, but spooled up fast, not just at idle. That way, if they have to go around, they have full
they're
power
ready to
immediately. Because that's, I mean, at any moment, if anything feels wrong, they say full power and go around.
Yeah.
So this last flight though, I had 2 things happen, but one, I got upgraded, which was nice,
What?
as you do.
Congratulations.
Plus or
Yeah.
first?
And I don't, Comfort Plus,
Nice.
because I booked a main
A
cabin.
little extra legroom. That's good.
Yeah, a little extra.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I had a lot, because it was like the first seat
Oh, yeah.
in the Comfort Plus.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, there had to be like 3 rows between me and first class. So
Yeah.
I was all stretched out. It was comfortable.
Nice.
The only reason I got upgraded, there was one other person in front of me, and whenever I looked at the upgrade list, I got bumped before them because I have the reserve card.
Oh, nice.
Must be nice to
Credit-
have status. And
credit cards
reserve
win.
Cards and
But
whatnot.
I'm sitting there and I'm waiting to board, and the guy comes on the mic after the plane lands and everybody's getting off. He's like, "Ladies and gentlemen," I don't have the voice. He's like, "But this flight is oversold." So he's sitting there. He says, "So anybody who would," he's like, "We're actually oversold by about 20 tonight."
Wow.
So he
What?
was like, "If you would like to
Wow.
go ahead and postpone your trip to tomorrow, since this is the last flight of the evening," he was like, "Please come up here and see me. We are offering you a free hotel tonight and a $400 Delta gift card."
Hold out for more.
Yep.
Hold out for more.
About that time, Don called me, and the first thing I said to him was, I was like, "They're wanting to give away $400 gift card." I'm like, "How bad is this truck have to be picked up tonight?" I was like, I could really use a $400 gift
Right.
card right now.
That's
But
hysterical.
I already had a hotel and everything booked, so I was like, "Yeah, let's go."
That's going to be more and more common. So Delta had undersold, or not undersold, but everybody sold oversells, but Delta kept their oversells to like 5% or something.
Right.
And they have upped that to like 15%.
Wow.
So you're going to see more and more oversold cabins on Delta. And they do it based on, they know. They've looked at the average of their entire fleet, and they know this many seats. I think it's 18% of their seats are undersold, are filled. Right? Like 18% of your people aren't going to show up. You booked a flight, you just don't show up. So they went conservative and backed it down to 15%.
Sure.
And that's not the exact numbers. It's somewhere around there, though. And that's what they're overselling the flights. But that does mean if everybody does show up,
You got a problem.
you got a problem. You got to start
Yeah.
figuring that out. But that's where status and credit card, what do they call that? Benefits are like, if you fly Delta, have a Delta card. United, you have a United card. American, have an American card. Not that it's going to help you in American. But if you fly American, find someone else. And but yeah, they're going to start. It's going to be more and more common thing. It's crazy that that's what they're doing. But I mean, I get it, but it sucks if that happens to you.
Sure.
We were in the Terminal D, I think it is, in New York City, which is gone. They've completely demolished it. And they were announcing that we were in the Sky Club, and it's one that you can actually like. You're on a second floor, so you see everything and you hear everything going on around you in the airport. And they were announcing like, Boston is oversold. We're offering $900. Like they started at like $500, $400, and they got up to like $900. We just need 2 more people for. And I'm like, can you imagine being the $500 guy?
Yeah.
Like I could have held out
Yeah.
for $900. So they finally we ran into somebody in the club who they're like, yeah, they gave me $900 gift card, and they give it to you right there on the spot. They've got it ready. It's not like wait for it to come in or whatever. And I've done that thing where they give you miles or something, but those are a pain to use. Like as a reward, it's a difficult thing. They were in the gift card right there, and they gave him free lounge access. He didn't have access to the lounge for his flight. We were coming back from an international flight, so we did. And they were like, yeah, whatever. So he's like, so you're telling me that you're going to give me $900? I can go to your lounge
Right.
and eat and drink for the next 4 or 5 hours and then fly home? Yeah,
Sure.
sign me up.
Sure.
So
If
Wow.
you've got that flexibility, great. More power to you, right?
Yep.
I think that none of us would have been upset if Jerry didn't make it home yesterday with the truck because he decided to take the
money and
credit.
run.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that. 'Cause I would have took that gift
Yeah.
card.
No, you got to hold out for more money next
You
time.
do have to hold
I
up-
know,
hold
I've-
up for more money. Yeah. But
I've heard stories of people saying that they've started, the $300-$400 range, and then I've heard stories of them getting all the way up to like $1,000, $1,500.
Yeah.
or even taking the early number and saying, I want what you end up capping out at is what I want. I've read stories on Reddit about people doing that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And getting that higher number because they did say, hey, first thing, yeah, I'll do it, but whatever you cap out at, that's where I want to be. But next time, call me. Say, hey, how important is this truck? 'Cause I'm a little more tied in than Don in that.
I told Don, I was like, well, hell, I'll get the free hotel gift card or whatever they give you, the
Yeah.
certificate.
Right.
I was like,
and
I'll go
use it
back
later.
home
Exactly.
and then use that at another time or
time.
something.
There you go.
I had it all planned
Date
out.
night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I had
there
it
you
all
go.
planned
That doesn't
out.
work if you're in Atlanta, though. If you're in Atlanta and that happens, you pretty much have to go to the hotel. Well, of course, then you would need it. I
Right,
guess that makes
exactly.
sense.
Right.
But there they have all their,
Yeah.
that was slick, man. When that happened to Eric and I, we got stuck in Atlanta. Seamless. They're like, go stand here. Like when you leave the terminal, go to this curve, stand there. There'll be a bus come grab you. That bus will take you there. You get there, you just tell them you're with Delta, and I mean everything just worked out so perfect. We get there, we're like, Delta sent us here. They said we'd have a room available. They're like, what's your name? Told them. They're like, yep, here you go. Here's your keys. No credit cards, no IDs,
Right.
nothing. It was
Wow.
awesome,
The
and it was
ho-
a nice hotel, super comfortable.
The hotel I stayed at in Atlanta, I woke up the next morning and I was going to get breakfast, and there was all the flight attendants, pilots,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
Delta. And I'm like, huh? And I actually talked to a couple of the flight attendants and everything. And then I got up and I was getting coffee and I was walking back to my seat, and they were all getting ready to leave. And then all of a sudden I seen 2 pilots from Spirit come down. And I'm like looking at them. No shade. Come on.
That was shade. That was
A
shade.
little.
That was shade. A
I
little.
was looking at them though, because the Delta, like their shirts are crisp,
Right.
white
Yeah.
uniforms. The guy come down in Spirit, bless his heart, he had like that weird material shirt that you could almost see through, and
Yeah.
it looked like dingy grayish almost, like it wasn't white anymore. I was like, bless your heart.
Aw.
That's funny. I used to have a joke where I used to say the only people that wear short sleeve dress shirts are copy repairmen. Because they come in, they take their windbreaker off and have their short sleeve dress shirt with the boat with the their tie on, but that's not what it sounds like the Spirit guys were like.
Yeah.
Like, I can is today my copy repair job or am I flying? Doesn't matter. Same shirt. I'm good.
Yeah. There's no shade. Sorry, I just can't. A little shade.
He's got to work his way up.
Yeah,
He'll be
I
okay.
mean, Spirit's not quite a legacy airliner yet,
Good thing we're a transportation podcast.
right?
Yeah.
We handle all forms of transportation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Intermodal. What do I
Intermodal.
say?
I was reading an
Outermodal.
article earlier today about BNSF and the merger they're trying to do with
Canadian National.
yeah. So that was very interesting to see that, and they're talking about pulling passenger. I have no idea what the talking about with railroads. I just wanted to carry on the whole
Oh, okay.
transportation conversation.
I'm
know.
like listening, and then you said passenger, and I'm like, what? Like Amtrak? What do you mean? I'm so confused.
Yeah. So
Well, we do talk about a lot of travel.
we do.
We could talk about traveling to Rio de Janeiro
We could.
in Brazil.
Yeah, and being one of the 1.6 million people to watch Madonna live.
I know.
Tell us about that.
Ah,
How was your trip?
I didn't get to go.
Do you really want to be in a concert with 1.6
No.
million people?
No. Not
Do you think you're
unless-
getting a good seat?
Do you
When
think you're getting a
1.
seat?
When 1.6
There's no
million
there were
people
no
show up,
seats. It was all out on Copacabana Beach in Brazil. It was all. Anyway,
The pictures I've seen, I would not want to be there.
no,
where are you going to the
No.
bathroom? Do you wear a diaper? Sorry.
No.
you're on sand. You
You're
just
just saying, you just go.
Look, kitty
it's
litter.
fine by the time by the time it gets to the ocean, it's fine. It's all been sand
Exactly.
filtered.
Oh,
There you go.
nice.
There you go.
Anyway, Madonna, as y'all know, I went and saw her in Cleveland for her celebration tour, 4 decades, and she finished her tour in Rio this last weekend.
Oh, this was it.
Yeah, it was the wrap up of her tour. It was a free concert.
I did see that.
Okay.
Yep. Again, 1.6 million fans were there. I did some research because I wanted to know some statistics. I didn't really know much about the Copacabana Beach or anything like that. In 1994, New Year's Eve show by Rod Stewart drew in 4 million fans on that sand, on that beach. And she had 1.6.
Oh well, she's nothing. Then.
They
Less
did.
than half.
They did attribute to the reason he may have had so many is it was New Year's Eve and a lot of people go for the fireworks show.
Okay,
But she also beat out the
that was
Rolling
Rod. That was Rod Stewart.
It was. Yep.
I think I'd rather see Rod Stewart than a fireworks show.
And she also beat out the Rolling Stones, who in 2006 they did 1.2 million for their crowd. So I thought those were some pretty amazing statistics for a female artist, somebody who's been in the business a hot moment. It's pretty cool, but still 1.6 million people.
I can't grasp that. I mean, I did sound for years and years before I ever got to trucking, and I remember doing big events with 50 to 100,000 people, and that's a big event, and it takes a lot to make that happen and pull that off. 1 million people?
Yeah.
1.5 million?
Yeah.
4 million? I don't even know. I mean, at that point, I don't even know. That's just.
I would assume that they'd have speakers lined up every so often.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
they absolutely. It's all fills at that point. Everything's a fill speaker. I
Well,
mean,
at some point, aren't you just stopping? You only have so much wire to run to your speakers.
well, like everything is. So their like fill speakers are full fledged front of house main
Right.
speakers.
Gotcha.
They're like each tower has its own generator and has its own amplifiers and everything. Like
Right.
they're just that's how they're able to keep the signal and everything going. But
Sure.
still, it's the amount of money and equipment that would require.
Sure.
Uh,
That's Madonna. She can
City
afford
Hall produced a report estimating in April. They did this report, so they were projecting, estimating that the concert would inject 293 million reals.
it. Reals.
Reals. Oh, sorry. Let me translate that for you. $57 million
Oh.
into the local economy. Hotel capacity was expected to reach 98% in Copacabana.
How many hotels they have?
I don't know. Fans hailed from across Brazil and even Argentina and France. All the Airbnbs were taken, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rio's International Airport, here we are, see, transportation, had forecast an extra 170 flights during May 1st through May 6th from 27 destinations. Rio's security plan included the presence of 3,200 military personnel and 1,500 civilian police officers on standby. and Brazil's Navy inspected vessels that wish to position themselves offshore to follow the show, which I think that would be the place to be.
That would be fun.
On your own boat, just
Yes.
off, still with a great view-ish.
Yeah. When the
And-
tide's right. I mean, you're like, I see her. I see her. I see her.
You're not
Gone,
fighting
gone,
crowds
gone.
for the
See her,
bathroom.
see her. Oh, yeah.
Because you're on your own boat.
Right.
Yeah.
You
So you
got your
just- you
cooler
just-
of beer right there.
Yeah, so you just pee right in the water.
Right.
And then what a story that is. I mean, the whole story of being there anyway
Whole
with
picture
with
of
one-
Caipirinhas.
0.6 million of your fellow,
People.
fans. Yeah. But to be on a boat, I think that would have been the place. Or even hanging out at the hotels,
Could-
right there off their balconies, or that would have been a great place to watch
It
her
would have
too.
been that'd been expensive, but it'd be great. Can you imagine being on stage, you're Madonna or the band or whatever, and the crowd yells after a song? How loud? What does 1.6 million people yelling all
They
in
were
one
singing her
direction
songs.
sound like?
It that many people was almost drowning out her music because they're all sing along songs, right? They're
Yeah.
all her top number one hits, or whatever, over 4
Think
decades.
she did Material Girl? Or
Uh,
Material World?
She
Material
did.
Girl.
Yep, she
Material
did
Girl?
Material Girl.
For reference, you said there's 1.6 million at the concert.
Yes.
That's equivalent to the size of Phoenix, Arizona, or Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
You want to go 1.5, San Antonio, Texas. So imagine cramming those cities.
All of San Antonio.
Yeah. Wow, that's
Onto
crazy.
a beach,
That's crazy.
or in a hotel, or on a boat.
Isn't
So
that
I
a
think they're
song?
counting all that. Buy me a boat.
No, I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways, I thought
That's
it
all
was
we can
pretty
say.
cool. What a way to go out, know. I did mention when I went and saw her in Cleveland, I felt like it was a farewell tour. I mean, she's 65, but
Every
At
time
least
you
for
say
doing-
that, just blows me away. I cannot believe she's that old.
at least for big venues or stadiums, I think this is it. I still think she's going to do projects. I still think she'll put out music content. I just think it won't be I think she'll be collaborating with other artists. I just don't think it'll be at the level
Yeah.
as to what it's been for the last 4
Yeah.
decades. Which kudos. I mean, what a great career.
Madonna, now that you've done the last show of your 4 decades tour, give us a little scoop. Send us an email, theouterbeltpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know, is Melissa right? I mean,
Yeah.
I know you listen and watch the show, so just give us a little scoop, send us an email, and we'll share it with the world. We'll break it right here on the Outer Belt.
I'm looking for Madonna, the 5th decade. Aren't
right?
you?
Yes, I am.
I could see it.
I
Uh,
am.
I
That'd be
hope she
awesome.
does her biopic.
I
So-
hope that her and Janet Jackson and Whitney Houston get together and put a project out.
That'd be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Could you imagine if like Prince produced it?
Yes.
And Michael Jackson did the choreography?
Oh.
Whew.
Janet just announced that her current tour, Together Again,
It's being
that I
considered.
went and seen, is her most top grossing tour of her entire career.
Wow.
Well, that makes
Wow.
Thanks to all the fans.
I-
And she has announced that she is bringing it to Europe.
I feel like that makes sense. Right now, I feel like concerts are hot. People want
They
those
are.
experiences. And a lot of these bands, we were talking about it recently with someone. Was that on the show? Somebody feel stupid if I'm repeating something I already said. No, I'm not. Recording music on CDs or CDs.
Vinyl.
Vinyl, cassette, 8-track. Some of
Right.
y'all know it.
Yeah, real to real.
Real magnetic tape, if you would. Perhaps even Stenophone
Right.
or Laserdisc or VHS or what's the cone?
Betamax.
What's the cone thing that they used to have before they had records?
Well, that played records through the cone, the Victrolas.
No, the one where the music was on the cone and it read the bumps on the cone.
Oh, you got me on that one.
Okay, well, or Napster MP3s.
Right.
Should you or we've beaten this to death, haven't we? You used to you made a record, you went on tour to promote the record,
Right.
Yes.
to sell the record to
Right.
get your money. You'd almost play the concert for free because you needed people to buy the record. Nowadays with Apple Music and Spotify and
Pandora.
Pandora,
all those
BitTorrents, and all
sure.
that stuff, and people stealing and pirating music, it's not about that anymore. The industry has completely changed. So now we'll give you the music for free. I mean, remember U2 dropped a whole album a couple years ago for free. I think Beyonce, didn't she drop a whole album for free too?
One.
Aren't you part of the Bay?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it was
I
Beyonce.
remember U2 dropped an album for free, but it was actually preloaded on iPods.
Yes.
And people
Everybody
got really
hated
upset
it.
that they
People-
did
yes.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I remember when it happened too, because they were like, I'm like, I don't have any U2, and I'm like, well, yeah, I do. There
Right.
it is.
But yeah, to your point, if you're spending $15 a month on streaming music service versus $15 per CD
Yeah.
and buying multiple CDs in a month, it's that just shows where that income has gone down, way down for artists. They're not selling albums
Absolutely.
anymore.
And they're getting very, very little for, people think like, well, if I just get like a penny for every time my song was played. No, you're getting like
Fractions.
1/100th of a penny
Yeah.
every time your song is played.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it just doesn't really make a lot of money. But now instead of a concert being $25 and going and seeing someone to promote their music, now tickets are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and that's how they make their money. I mean, what was it? Taylor Swift just did over $1 billion on her tour.
Yeah.
$1 billion
$1
off of a tour. I mean, it was a big tour, but
She was
still.
playing huge stadiums too.
Yes.
But yeah,
I mean, that's just crazy money.
Yeah.
That's a successful business's lifespan.
right.
She did by playing music around the world doing concerts. Like,
Imagine-
it's just,
Imagine too all the merch sales.
Yeah.
I just want to be the
How do you-
company that makes the merch, that
How do you-
screens the T-shirts.
oh, how do you organize the merch? If you've got that many
Yeah.
shirts to make, you can't take them all with you. So
No.
obviously you're having them
You're
drop
drop
shipped in
shipped,
different
sure.
places. It's just,
Sure.
that'd be crazy. I mean, Formula One, same thing. Like their logistics are crazy, but
Right.
just those concert, yeah,
That was a big thing with the Madonna concert. I follow one of her groups on Facebook, and they're all like, is the merch shop here at this location? Because she didn't have a merch shop at every venue she played at. And then if she did, she had some items at one, but other items, and everybody was looking for the bomber jacket.
Yeah.
It's kind of iconic. Her, blah, 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 has her on it. But I think it was like $400 or $500 for this bomber jacket. But it wasn't readily available at all of the venues where she performed, which most of them are big arenas,
Mhm.
right? But I thought that was really interesting that she didn't have the same thing. I could see maybe towards the end, maybe they ran out of stock, or I don't know, or now you can order it off her website or something. But she just didn't have everything at every venue.
I like the fact that you can order stuff off the websites now. What it perturbed me a little bit about the Billy Joel, when we did Billy Joel Stevie Nicks here in Columbus, they did have an Ohio Billy Joel Stevie Nicks T-shirt, and I'm like, I would like to have that. Right, that was a great concert.
$55
it was
for T-shirts.
something like that.
Yeah.
But I would like that. I thought it'd be a neat shirt to have. Well, I'm not waiting in line for 2 hours and missing
Right.
half the concert to get the
No.
shirt, and by the time the concert's over, the shirt's sold out, and they didn't put it online. So it was like you had to make the decision: am I going to be there, stand in line, miss part of the show, to get a shirt saying I was at the show that I spent half the time in line, or do you just say, well, I'm just not going to get the shirt and move on?
Right.
Then that's ultimately what I did. I just wish if that was online, I would have bought that shirt. I would have had it shipped to my house.
Sure.
I'd proudly wear it and be like,
Yeah.
I was there. Did I get the shirt at the concert? No, but I was
I
there.
was there. Yeah.
So I'm hoping
wonder why
more
they
people start
Don't
doing the
maybe
online.
sell leftovers back online and then until sold out.
I think they don't have a lot for that kind of stuff. I think those one-time shirts,
Oh.
they intentionally don't make enough so that they will sell out.
I see. What do you got for us? I heard you.
Columbus-based Homage. Swift wore one of their jackets or a piece of their clothing for one of the concerts.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
And it's
a hat, right?
don't know what piece of clothing it was, but I did hear it on the news, and it said it spiked the clothing's purchased, like their business 170 times
That's some gross.
because Swift
Yeah.
wore some of
Wow.
their
I
clothing.
saw a headline the other day that was it Ryan Reynolds? Is he the one that does the mobile phone thing?
Oh,
He
That-
is
that
the
he-
owner of Mint Mobile.
That he invested money into. I could be wrong on who it was, but I'm pretty sure he invested in the company as well after they blew up like crazy.
Yeah, and it's just weird that that's based out of Columbus.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Homage.
stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff based out of Columbus. I mean, it's pretty centrally located. You got some pretty smart people here. The culture is very creatively minded, I think. I mean, we've got Rogue, who is a gigantic supplier of workout equipment, and they're based here in Columbus. Their Made in America stuff is made here in Columbus.
It's interesting.
I thought it was crazy when I bought a is it a recumbent bike? Is that the one where you
Sit
ride?
back and ride.
No, not a recumbent. The other one where you ride like a bicycle, like a
That'd be a
Peloton,
bicycle.
like a Peloton.
Oh, the Schwinn, yeah.
Yes.
A stationary bike.
A stationary bike. So mine's a Schwinn, which is built by Nautilus, which as we got the box out and Eric and I are setting it up right on the side of it, it's like Nautilus, Columbus, Ohio. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I looked it up and sure enough, they're based out of
Yeah.
here. So, I mean, and they're huge. They make private label equipment, I mean, for a ton of people. Now, the bike was made in China, but still the company's based out of here.
Sure.
It's a really neat place to live. I've seen people kind of crap it on Columbus, and I'm like, I don't see it. The taxes are high. I'll give you that. But outside of that, I don't see it. It's a great city.
Yeah.
So it wasn't Ryan Reynolds directly. It was a firm he owns called Maximum Effort that made the investment. So it wasn't a Ryan Reynolds thing, but
But that's like Warren Buffett or Berkshire
well,
Hathaway.
sure. I
You
just want
use
to
them
make sure that
interchangeably.
it wasn't like Ryan Reynolds came out and said, "No, let's write this check." Maybe he did.
He might have.
Yeah, maybe he did.
Yeah.
But just to clarify, what it was Ryan Reynolds. I had the actor's name right. He's an actor, right?
He is an
Yes.
actor.
I wanted to make sure I was.
I
talking
mean,
about the
some
right
people
guy.
would argue.
Yeah.
No,
Well, you know.
he's actually a really good actor.
He's my baby daddy. He just don't know it yet.
Jesus.
Isn't he married to Eva Mendes?
Oh, I
No,
don't
he's
know.
married to he's Betty White's granddaughter, Sandra Bullock, right?
Ryan Reynolds?
No.
You're thinking of the other Ryan.
No, I think I'm Gosling. No, I think I'm making
Oh,
a joke about
Gosling.
the movie,
Yeah,
right? Because
the
the
proposal.
proposal.
Oh, I see.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Ryan Gosling is married to Eva Mendes.
You don't like the proposal?
I don't know that I've ever seen the
Oh,
proposal.
it's a great movie.
It is a good movie.
If you've seen the proposal, like, or leave us a comment down there, with an emoji of a ring. It is a. It's very funny. I can't believe I'm promoting a movie made in like 2008.
It was pretty good.
It's pretty funny. Betty White
was
has
good.
Betty White has a moment in there that'll make you launch milk out of your nose. Funny. It is in Sandra Bullock. It's just it's a work of art.
It's a good movie.
It's yeah, it's good. And who knew Sandra Bullock was a comedic actor?
Oh, she plays in a lot of comedy.
She does.
Miss
Speed.
Speed's in
Speed 2.
action. Speed 2's in action.
Miss
Congeniality.
Congeniality.
There you go.
That was
One
an
of my
action
favorite
movie.
movies.
Right.
That was an action movie. You said it's
No,
a
that
comedy?
was a comedy.
Yeah, it is comedy.
If that's a comedy,
comedy
then you're saying
action.
Lethal Weapon's a comedy?
Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
got,
it
it's
was
got
comedy.
comedic parts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Well,
I still think Speed was a comedy. Anytime you put Keanu Reeves in a movie, it's a comedy.
no. We're working our way right now through
John Wick.
this and that.
Yeah,
there-
those are not.
what is
comedies.
comedic about that, except for the plot? I mean, like
Well, there you go. That's,
outside of the
that's my point.
outside of this ridiculous concept.
Yeah.
Once you buy into that,
killed
it's
my
no
dog.
nothing. Seriously, one dog dies,
Yeah.
and
And he goes,
942
"That's-
people have to be murdered.
Yes.
It is. It's so good.
Let's
Where it
not
should
use
be.
the M word. I
Killed,
would say assassinated.
assassinated. All right, that's fair. No, because when they're fighting, that's not assassinating, is it?
You can certainly assassinate somebody by fighting. I mean, there were murders in the movie. I wouldn't say they were all murders.
Have you seen
though.
The Wick
Oh,
Chronicles?
all of them. And I think what I like about it is the fact that
All
he
of 'em.
just, yeah, I like them. I really
I
do.
haven't
It's
seen
lots of
the full
action.
yet. I need to
Yeah,
watch it.
lots of action.
I think
Yeah.
what I like about him, though, is the fact that he sees and shoots.
Yes.
I hate movies where it's like they're holding a gun on him and they're standing
Right.
there talking and it's like,
Exactly.
shoot him. You're going to kill him eventually. Shoot
Right.
him. I hate that.
Are we talking about a James Bond evil villain?
I hate it.
Or like I have a gun on you and I could just pull a trigger and shoot you, but I feel the need to talk to you, and then which gives you the chance to get the gun out of my hand.
Exactly.
And
Or-
now you're not dead.
Or my
No.
my personal favorite is I've got a gun on you. I can kill you now, but let's put the gun away and fight it out like men.
Yeah.
I'm like,
No.
you break into my house. We're not fighting it out like men.
No, we're not.
Like,
I'm gonna shoot you.
yeah, that's right. I don't have a gun,
I
so
don't
there's
either.
that problem.
But yeah.
But if I did,
Yeah.
in this hypothetical situation,
Yes.
I would. Yeah, I'm like, so, I love it.
Wick, just boom, boom, boom. Love it.
Done.
I haven't seen. Have
The
we
thing
seen
in
3?
Wick, it just keeps going. Boom, boom, boom. The whole freaking movie.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It is nice.
Because they're about an hour and 30, 40 minutes. They're
Yep.
not super long.
Nope.
They crammed 3 hours of action into it. Imagine if the director of Wick made Lord of the Rings. It'd be a 4 hour and 15-minute long trilogy, not a 9 hour long trilogy.
Yeah, but then the revenue that they made off that
They milked that, didn't
trilogy.
they?
Yeah, of course they did.
Peter Jackson's a genius.
Genius.
Why can't I be smart like some of these people?
Some would say you are, just you
Yep.
know, in a different
Capacity.
way.
Oh,
Yeah. And I only say that because I work for and keep my job.
well,
No, I wouldn't.
it's fitting.
Whatever.
It's fitting. It happens.
You are smart.
Should hear. Well, no, this is not turning into the
Yeah,
let's
all praise Patrick
let's all
now.
praise. No, let's all.
Because I can
What's
see
that
I can
called
see
when
tomorrow.
you're just like, we're gonna like lift you up or whatever, but like you're a child, so we're just like patting you on the head.
Patronizing?
Yeah, you're not gonna
Yeah.
patronize me now.
There's going to be
Okay.
phone calls tomorrow.
There will be. I guarantee
Melissa?
it. I promise. Melissa promises there'll be phone
Yeah.
calls too.
Melissa, on the podcast last night, I felt like you didn't do enough praising of Patrick. That's what he's going to say. So next week, step up your game a little bit, or I may have to let you go.
Yeah.
And then he'll call Eric. Eric, just want you to know, when we were doing the whole let's patronize Patrick thing, you didn't say a word. Next week, really step it up a little
Absolutely.
bit more, and have to let you go.
Well, that's why they call it PP.
That's why they
You
call
just
it
need to
PP.
PP more
Yeah.
on the patronize.
Got to
Or
PP more.
praise Patrick.
Got to PP more, definitely.
Lord help us.
This is me with bug eyes.
So Jerry, I see a note here on the notes. Show
A
notes.
note on the notes.
The notes on the
Good.
show notes
A good place for a note.
about new text to show fully active. What's that mean?
So, not on YouTube, but on your favorite audio podcast that you're listening to us on,
Okay.
iHeartRadio, Overcast,
Okay.
Apple Podcasts, all of the audio versions that you're listening on, there is a new feature now that if you look down into the description, there will be a link that you can directly text us here at the podcast. So leave your favorite comment, reach out to us, show ideas for the show, anything like that. You literally can text us now. We'll
Seriously?
respond. I'll be happy to talk to you. Yep. You can now text the Outer Bell podcast.
How does
That's
that?
awesome.
So they go on there, they text. So they go on there and they text, and they're like, "Y'all need to talk more about apples." And they send it to us.
Mhm.
How do we get it?
So the software that we use to publish the podcast, it's through them. So I am notified that someone has texted us,
Oh, cool.
and I'm able to respond and carry on a conversation and talk live.
Nice.
Nice,
People.
nice.
Nice,
And if
that's
it's
cool.
if they text us at like 2:00 in the morning, you'll get out of bed.
No,
Okay.
absolutely not. I love my sleep.
Just like a regular text message, I'll get to you tomorrow.
Exactly.
All right.
But it is nice to know that now you can send fan mail, you can talk to us, you can all of that great stuff just by looking in the description and clicking on the link.
That's very
That's-
cool. I didn't know that existed.
That's really cool.
That's very
What
neat.
link am I clicking on?
In the description.
In the podcast. This week, we got some very exciting things happening, and Vince, I thought you wanted to talk about them,
Yeah, the CVSA is doing their international
The
road
who?
check. CVSA?
which stands for.
I don't know. Commercial Vehicle Safety Association.
Alliance.
Sure, that too. Administration Alliance Association. They're all the same.
They are all the same.
Yeah, they're all the same.
CVSA.
CVSA, Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance, per Jerry.
So that's
Um,
that's Charlie Victor Sierra Alpha.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just had a great one, but I'll keep it to myself. So yeah, the CVSA is doing their annual international road check, which is basically a blitz where they focus on usually two items every year during this time, and there are more roadside inspections. Roadside being at a way station, on the literal roadside, anywhere where DOT officers are checking vehicles. So this year's focus is going to be on alcohol and controlled substance possession and tractor protection systems. So they will be focused on looking for signs of possession or under the influence of alcohol or controlled substances. They'll be checking the clearinghouse to make sure drivers' names aren't showing up on the clearinghouse.
Okay.
And then they're also doing tractor protection, which is they're looking at the tractor protection valve, the trailer supply valve, and anti-bleed back valves, which are your air valves for your braking system, basically, is what they're looking at. So those are the two things they're going to focus on, really checking extra careful. Doesn't mean they won't check everything else, because they will do everything else as well.
Yeah.
But they're really going to focus on really being diligent on these two items. So that is coming up this week, the 14th through the 16th of May 2024. So
I wonder with the drug and alcohol clearinghouse and everything, if they're substance abuse, if they're actually going to make you like get out and walk a line and do a quick sobriety test or something. That's just a weird one. I don't know how they do it. Are they going to literally like search the truck? Are they going to go inside? And have they talked about the form and how they're going to do that?
I don't see anything on the CVSA's article about it. What they're really trying to do is make everyone more aware of the rules regarding alcohol and controlled substance possession, especially alcohol possession in the truck.
Yeah.
It's in your truck, it's in your possession, right?
Yeah.
This is not if you're hauling alcohol.
If it's
as
on a bill of
cargo.
lading,
So
it's
on a bill of
different.
lading, it's different. If it's in your sleeper,
Yeah.
chances are it's not on your bill of lading.
Well, what if you had a bill of lading that you made for it?
Well, it needs to
I'm
be.
just a sarcasm. I'm sorry. That was strictly a joke.
So, but they are going to be checking. They want employers, carriers, to be more aware as well of the requirements to check the clearinghouse, that type of thing as well. So,
Yeah.
You said that they were going to also check the clearinghouse. Are there drivers out there who are negatively on the clearinghouse who could be driving? I just think of the carriers we work with, so that's all I have to go by. I'm a little sheltered in that aspect. That would be a hard NO with either one of the carriers.
sure, with our,
But are
with,
there
with
other
reputable carriers, it's a hard no.
Are there other? Are they mom paws? Are they
Sure.
local divisions?
Sure.
Okay.
Are there? I can't get a job anywhere, driving a truck anywhere else. So I bought my own truck. I got my own authority, and yeah, I'm on that clearinghouse, but I'm
Right.
not telling anybody.
I see. Okay.
There's a lot of shady that happens in our
Lots of
industry.
shady.
Yeah,
Like, it
sure.
just,
I
Lots
get
of
it.
shady.
that's why they do these inspections anyways. I think I saw something like 800. I think it was 875,000 people are about to lose their CDLs. They're about to be downgraded because they're on the clearinghouse and they have not done the appropriate action you have to do, whatever that
Mhm.
is. So I think it's 875,000 people have just a couple more months left, and they will all get downgraded to just a regular driver's license.
I think I saw that in November is when they start downgrading
It might be November.
people that are on the prohibited list.
It might have been 6 months from now. That might have been what they're saying
Yeah,
is 6
I think
months
it
from
was.
now.
But they're also looking at the reason they're focusing on drug and alcohol on this road check is because those numbers in the clearinghouse are steadily rising.
Oh,
It's not
yeah.
going down; they're steadily rising. People are still getting cited for failed drug screens, failed
Sure.
drug and alcohol screens, or possession or under the influence. They're still getting cited for this, and this is not just possession or under the influence in a commercial vehicle. This is possession or under the influence in a personal vehicle as well.
Yeah.
Those things all go on your record. They all go on your clearinghouse.
Right.
So
I think too, a lot of it, people don't realize that the drug and alcohol standards, if you have a CDL, are different too.
they are.
I didn't know that, and I probably had my CDL for 8 or so years before I even found this out. But like the .08 that we all know, that's most states, not all states, but most states, it's .08, and
Right.
you're legally intoxicated. With a CDL, it's .04.
Yep.
So it's literally they cut it in half.
Even if you're in a personal vehicle, not on duty,
If you have a
If you-
CDL.
if you have a CDL and you're .04 or higher, you are breaking the law. You're under the influence.
In a personal vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know that until today.
So I would bet there's a lot of people who didn't know that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm going to blow, .06 or whatever,
Sure, it'll be
07.
fine.
I kind of have an idea where I'm at because I'm a professional drinker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do that, and it's like, what do you mean I'm getting a DUI? I didn't
Right.
do that. So
But you have a commercial license. It makes sense.
So be careful. Be careful out there in your personal vehicle as well. You have to be diligent about these things. I know the carriers we work with, if you're in your personal vehicle and you get a distracted driving citation, you can lose your job.
Yep.
So,
and same goes with speeding and all the other stuff.
Sure.
I know
Seatbelt.
a seatbelt, cell phone usage. When I was a brand new CDL holder, and we came back for may not have been our very first, might have been our second home time. It was Mardi Gras season in Louisiana. So I went to go get a king cake, and I was excited. I drove to get the king cake, did 60, I think it was 65 miles an hour on I-10, and it had a high-speed exit, and onto a service road. And so I did what I've always done at that point, which is just take my foot off the gas, and when I hit the exit, and then let it slowly go down
Sure.
to 45 miles an hour, which is the speed limit for that road. And when I got onto the road, I was doing 55 miles an hour, and immediately got pulled over.
wow.
Immediately got pulled over with it, and it was 10. And at the time, FedEx had a deal where 10 and over, you were automatically disqualified for a year. You had to sit out for a year. Pulled over, and Louisiana at that time had a program that would allow you to do some courses online and expunge that from your record. So I was able to do that, and FedEx was fine with that. But that really drove home the point of
Yeah.
like, I'm a professional driver now. Like,
Yep.
I cannot be lazy with how I drive. I have to make sure I have tolerances and I stay within those
Sure.
parameters, and can't let, like, even the whole thing. I've talked to people when they're going like cross country driving or whatever, and I tell them, they're like, oh, well, you do 10, 15 miles over the speed limit, and I'm like, I can't. It's not worth that risk to me.
It's
I'm
not
not
worth that
losing
risk.
my CDL. I'm not losing my ability to drive just to get somewhere a
Yeah.
couple hours sooner.
You got to
Or
protect
not even
that
that, an hour
CDL.
sooner. You got to protect your CDL.
Yes, you
so
do.
that's interesting. I am really curious to hear back some feedback on if you're listening now, if you get pulled over and they mention the drug and alcohol and controlled substance portion of this, what did they do? I'm going to know what the officer actually does, and I'm going to be checking some news sources as well to see if I can find out what exactly they're doing. Most of our trucks, we have tractors, but most of them are straight trucks, so I don't know how the safety valve portion of that's going to work because there is no trailer.
Right.
But we still have a few tractors running around.
So you still have the tractor protection valve. Your tractor protection valve is still there in the truck.
Mhm.
You just don't have the red handle, which is your tractor protection valve.
Gotcha. Got you. I guess that's going to lead us over to the weekly weigh-in.
Yes, it is.
So before I get started, this week is brought to you by the Octavia Bar, the Creamy Double Peanut Butter Crisp Bar. Now, I like these a lot, and I tell you, they are, it's completely psychosomatic, and I know that. It's all in my head. But these have like a layer of peanut butter on them, and they're quite tasty. And I almost feel like I get more energy off these than I do some of the other ones. Again, completely in my head. If you look at the nutritional value, it's exactly the same as the other ones. There is no difference. But what I like these for is in the afternoon, for my afternoon fueling, like maybe after my lunch would have been, or after. This just feels like a little more substance than what the other ones are. Again, it's not, but it tricks my brain into thinking so.
Right.
And so that's why I really like these. I've also packed these, like if I've gone on hikes. I was in Georgia a while back, and we hiked to a waterfall, and I had a couple of these in my bag as when my fueling would hit while we were out there to take it. It just seems to like be better than something with chocolate. Like, the mental thing of like, well, you're hiking, why would you eat chocolate? Again, it's all insanity because they're all nutritionally similar. But I like to keep that, chocolate dessert, milkshakes or morning drinks, granola bars in the afternoon, and then
Right.
yada yada. So that's kind of how. But this is the one. I really like it. I encourage people, if you do end up going on this and you don't have a peanut allergy, because it is real peanut butter, so you do have to pay attention to that. If you have peanut allergy, this is not for you. But this is one that I really like and really recommend.
All right.
Those are tasty.
They're very good. Might have one now. So the weekly weigh-in. Drum roll. 272.4.
Nice.
Yes, 272 pounds, 0.4. 272.4 pounds. So I'm down a couple pounds from last week. So it's been trending a couple pounds so far for a couple weeks now. I feel pretty good about that. I'm really looking forward to seeing 2.6 something. You know, like I feel like I'm getting close enough to that threshold
Sure.
Yeah.
that I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to see 2.6 soon.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care if it's 269.9. Like, I just want to see it. So I'm hoping next week I can say that. Probably won't. Probably be 270.1. You know,
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
never know.
we'll see. We will see. Yeah, I was pretty happy about that.
Good. Way to go.
It does feel good when you're like progressing in the right
Sure.
direction. You know, we were talking about going to the restaurant last night. I was telling Eric, I'm like, I have momentum. I don't really want to go eat out, because I don't want to like, especially this is an Italian restaurant. I don't want to eat Italian. Like that's horrible for you. Like I don't want to blow up and get fat. So we get out there, and I had a burrata with tomatoes, a little balsamic vinaigrette. Oh,
It looked good.
it was so tasty. But that's low calories, low, maybe even no carbs. I don't know, cherry tomatoes have carbs.
Everything has carbs except for meat.
So low carb.
Yes.
And then I had we got a thing of mixed olives, you know, to eat. They were outstanding too. And then for the main, I actually went and got a
Halibut.
grilled.
Wow.
No, pan sautéed halibut over a bed of spinach with a lemon block sauce, basically lemon butter and a little wine. It was delicious. I absolutely loved it. And then Eric, in support of me trying to lose weight, got
Let's not go there.
A huge
a
pasta
huge
bowl.
pasta bowl
Yeah.
full of shrimp and
Shrimp,
cheese.
mushroom, spaghetti.
Yes. Oh, his looked outstanding. But no, it was really, really tasty, really good. I felt pretty good about that. We skipped dessert. We skipped all the bad stuff. I did have a cocktail with dinner, but I've had so little sugar that even I lost weight even eating all that, and so I feel pretty good about that. But it's
Congratulations for making good
Yeah, it's awesome.
out to dinner choices.
I'm just glad that they actually had something good to eat on it. I was afraid it was gonna be like a chicken Caesar salad, dressing on the side, give me some oil, you know.
Right.
No, it was a substantial meal. I didn't even eat the whole thing. I was full. Like
Wow.
halfway through it, I was like, "That's all I can
That's
eat."
awesome.
So,
We were reminded how expensive it is to eat out.
oh my gosh, it's so
We forgot
expensive to
about
eat
that.
out. We cook most nights a week. Have you eaten out lately?
No.
Have you?
Breakfast.
Yeah.
And
It's expensive.
oh my gosh, it was so expensive. I'm like, now granted, this place was a little nicer in, but still, I'm like,
Yeah, it's in a nicer, uppity neighborhood.
yeah, but it's right across the street from my college. Why is it that expensive? Anyways, it didn't but I do think I'm out of touch with what things cost. I mean, we, 2-3 years ago, we even got a credit card for dining points because we ate out so much, and 2-3 years ago we just kind of stopped. Pandemic, started cooking more, and I know a lot of people have gone back to eating out, but we kind of haven't. We just enjoy eating at the house and. Yeah. Anyways, I think that's what's great about our trucks. You're able to eat in your truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jerry, what else do we have? What are we forgetting?
Make sure you hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Stay up to date with all of us. Make sure you hit the little bell icon so that way you're notified when all new videos go up. They are posted every Saturday at 8 a.m. And send us an email if you have any suggestions, comments, and
Or
the
text.
new text. I already got your text. Go
We're
ahead
just
and
testing it.
go ahead and send that over to us, and we would love to hear from you if you have any show suggestions, recipes that you would like to share with other fellow drivers out
I
there.
know. I need to do the pizza. I need to do it here on a Wednesday night, and we do a little B-roll, and then we eat it, and then I'll share about it.
Cool.
That's what we should do. Maybe
What,
next
is
week.
it on my plan?
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
It's the one I
We've
made
had it.
before.
We've had it before at our house.
Oh, that was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the meat
Oh,
crust.
we should do that.
do it here, a little B-roll,
Yeah.
and then talk about it. It's
And then-
something that could be made in a truck.
I think we make it funner. I think we do that, and we challenge Don to come up with a dessert for it.
There you go.
Ooh, a dessert pairing.
Yes. That can be made in a truck
Right.
and is low carb,
Yep.
low calorie, and delicious.
So tiramisu's not.
He's like, and no.
He's got it. He
He's
just
like, I
gave,
got
he gave us
3
the
out of
thumbs up.
4.
He got thumbs up. He said he got it.
I'm done. Yep.
He's got it.
He's all over it.
He's gonna be like, now, Patrick, which of these Octavias did you say was best for dessert? Okay, so Jerry, what about Boogie? Are you doing anything soon?
We are working on, as I mentioned last week, having the expedite chicks on. That is still happening. Schedules got worked around a little bit this week, so I wasn't able to film, but that is coming. So please stay tuned to that.
Very excited. Very excited.
Nice.
I know they're excited, nervous because they don't get to like hang out with a superstar like I do all the time. So they're like,
God.
a whole nother platform.
Yeah.
Mm,
They're going to keep you in stitches.
I'm sure they will.
Oh, it's fun. I enjoyed my time with them. I think you said mine was the hardest one you ever had to edit of theirs.
You with them, yes. When she sent it over to me and she uploaded it to the drive, she texted me and she's like, "I'm just going to apologize now." And I was like, "I already know. Like, I don't even have to watch it. I already know." And then whenever I edited it, yeah, there was a lot.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Wow.
And check out our website, hyfieldtrucking.com, if you're interested in getting into expediting or the trucking lifestyle. All team drivers, please, no solos, but definitely check us out. We would love to talk to you.
We really got to find a way to make that more clear. I was just talking to a team today that they said it was not as obvious. The team was a solo. They thought we took solos. So we just need to figure a way to put that in our advertising. Make it.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should definitely
Well,
share that.
established teams, pre-made teams.
Yeah. We'll think
No-
of something.
no
We'll
solos?
work on,
No
we'll
solos?
work on that wording. We'll workshop
Yeah.
it some.
There you go.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you, friends and consigliere, for hanging out. Don in the back with Tech Ops. Thank you. And until we see you again. Oh, don't forget, drop your bakery request in with Don. You can do it maintenance at hyfieldtrucking.com, or you can do that through the text or an email at theouterbiltpodcast.com.
His rates are very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
And it's really good food. So until we see you again, yes, sir.
I was going to say, Jimmy's going to get those emails. He's going to be like, "What is this?"
Oh, yeah, Jimmy does not bake. If that's the gamble you take.
It is.
If you submit to
Yes.
that, if Jimmy answers it, you don't get your cookies. If
Right.
Don does, you do.
You do.
But everybody stay safe. Be careful with the CVSA check coming up this week. Just make sure your truck's in order and it's good to go, and you'll be fine. Don't worry when they come up to your truck. Stay safe. Make good decisions.
And don't leave money on the table. And don't leave money on the table.
And keep those wheels a turning.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.